right, so my last video cut me off, so I don't know exactly where it left off, so I'm sorry, but I plotted my 4, I plotted my 7, I plotted when there was 10, which is getting closer to the line, but if I look at 13, 13 is perfectly on the line, so it is the best choice. All right, there's 2 other words that are going to be coming up in the next week or 2 that we need to discuss, and the first one is the word... First word, let me move the paper so you can actually see this, is outlier. And it is a point, a data point, very different than the others. So a data point very different from the others. So it's going to be one that, we can see here that our data is pretty closely related. Even our 37 and 42 that we plotted here are. But if this were a point on it, that would be an outlier, because do you see how very different and far away it is? Okay, that's our first new word that I wanted to. The other one we're going to write about at the top. And it's a cluster. So we're going to put an asterisk and write the word cluster. It is a group of data. Now, we don't have any real clusters on this paper to show you an example of, but I'm going to show you another one, and we're going to look at how it is a cluster. All right, so pause this really quick so I can put another graph under here. All right, so here is another graph. You don't have this one, so don't panic. You can see this is an outlier. Do you see how this point is different from the others? And then we have a cluster right here. Do you see that's a small little group of them together? Here's another cluster. We actually have 2 clusters in this situation. So 2 clusters. A lot of times we'll see maybe 1 or 2 clusters, or we may see 1 cluster and then the rest will all be in another place. But that is what a cluster is. It's when it's grouped. Sometimes a cluster can be around a line, but normally we're going to be looking at when it's just in this own little bubble, its own little circle. You can kind of see there's a separation there. So that's a cluster, and that's an outlier. All right, that's the rest of our notes. You're going to get an assignment now that you're going to work on, where you're going to plot some points and you're going to make some predictions. So that paper is due today in class. So be sure that you turn it in before you leave. This is not something you can take out of class. All right, good luck.